Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. BrothersTrucks.com, your #1 source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GMC truck restoration. Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. And by Oil Undercoating, the official oil-based rust prevention system.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. You know, their motto is, if it's worth keeping, it's worth protecting. And I tell you what, here is a truck that was worth keeping. It's a mid-80s Chevy C10 pickup truck, the square body that everybody loves. They're more and more popular all the time. Dave Welch is here for Brothers Trucks. And Dave, Brothers has everything for trucks from, what, 1947
all the way up to 87.
Up to 87. So just about everything we need. And here we're talking about the long bed that came on this truck. It looked cool when it came into the studio, but a lot of folks these days love the short bed. Why is that?
You know, I don't know. I just don't know.
Styles change.
Yeah.
And so they have here now, and everybody wants the short bed look. So traditionally, what is it like to change the length of a bed on a truck?
In the past, there was a lot of different ways of doing it, but they were more complicated. Different versions would take cabs off. And so what we wanted to do is make it simple. And simplicity really should be what this kit is called, because this makes it easy. We don't have to guess what we're doing. We don't have to measure what we're doing once or twice. All we got to do is put the metal, not plastic, not paper, metal template up on there.
Well, let's talk about this long bed to short bed conversion kit from Brothers Trucks. First of all, we got to take off the old bed.
Right.
Then we took off the long bed. How complicated is that?
Usually it's not that big of a deal, but I swear there's always one thing still stuck on there. So when you take out all your bolts, get 4 people, not 2, get 4 people, take off your tires, and then just lift it up a couple inches, because I guarantee you there's something still connected, a ground strap or whatever weird thing somebody might have put on over the years. So then you find that last thing, put it back down, take it off. Now you can take your bed off and get rocking and rolling.
As we've said before, take your time.
Right.
You got it. So what's next?
Well, you want to make sure that the truck is safe, it's chalked, the wheels, that's nice and level, because you're constantly checking to make sure that everything's level throughout the build when you're bolting it together, before you weld it up, after you welded everything, because of course level is what you need.
And we had to start taking lines off?
Yeah, if you take off everything that's in your way, you got your drive shaft, you got your exhaust, you got fuel lines, brake lines, wires, and anything else somebody might have stuck in over the years. So you get all that out of the way, you clean up the frame, then you can go ahead and put the template on there. You don't have to worry about rust or anything being in your way. And a lot of times what happens is some of the holes will already line up. Doesn't always happen, but even if it does or it doesn't, it really doesn't matter. All I need to do is make sure that it is on there, and I just snug it up against the front little rivets that are in there if I don't have any holes that line up. But it really doesn't matter. You can stick it anywhere within that gap and cut it all up, and it's going to be fine.
And what range of trucks are we talking for the template?
We make these for 67 to 72 and the 73 to 87. It's GMC and Chevy, of course. There's a few exclusions when you get into the late 70s, 80s. They had some 1 tons and things that came with different frames, but they were so rare that it didn't make sense to make the kit for that.
So the template is fantastic.
Fantastic.
It helps you make all the cuts you need to make at the front, first of all.
Right. So all I'm going to do is just put it on. I'm going to drill out my #1 holes. Then I'll go ahead and bolt those on. So this way my plate's not shifting around on me. When I'm drilling out my holes, make sure that they are absolutely straight as possible. So we're going to use an 1/8" drill bit, and we'll drill through the holes first. We got a nice pilot. Then we'll finish it off with a 7/16. Once we've got all that done, then we can go ahead and start cutting. When I cut, I like to cut the bottom first, because if you cut everything on the top, then you got all this dirt on the ground that you're going to have to lay in. So I'll cut the bottom, but I won't cut it completely. If I cut it completely, then it can start separating and it can make it more difficult when I'm doing the rest of my cuts. So I'll leave just a little bit on the bottom. I'll cut up my sides here. You can use a Sawzall on this, but I prefer the die grinder you saw me use, because what I can do with it is I can go up and down in the groove, making sure it's nice and straight. If I'm just doing a singular cut like I might be doing with a Sawzall, it's kind of easier to get off it a little bit. So all we got to do is we get it on, we bolt it up, we cut off everything. Now this center section is going to fall out, and we don't want to get rid of it though, because we still got another little template on here, and this is for your bumper bolts. It shows you how much to cut off the back end of the frame. It shows you where the hole is going to go for this bolt right here, and it shows you where the bumper bolt holes are going to be.
Once you get the short bed on, that shortens the length of the truck, so all the old stuff's not going to fit.
Right.
Well, how does Brothers help me out there?
Well, some of the kits will be a little bit different because of different necessities, but you'll get emergency brake line shortening kit, you'll get a fuel line, you'll get a brake line if it's pertinent, and then you'll need to shorten your drive shaft and your exhaust yourself. That's not a kit, of course.
And in this case, a different fuel tank as well.
Right, yeah, you will need to get that shorter fuel tank.
Gotcha. Well, Brothers Trucks sends us everything we need, including the sheet metal here.
Yeah, the quality of this stuff is outlandish these days. I've been doing this a long time. Everything on this bed is brand new. Not one old piece on it. Everything's brand new. You can almost build a complete truck with the sheet metal they have these days.
I know we've glossed over this whole process with shortening the bed, but what if folks want to buy the kit and then want to see detailed instructions on how to do the whole thing?
Right, so what they're going to want to do is go to Brothers Trucks YouTube channel. We've got how to shorten down your beds, how to do rust repair, how to install glass, odd little things on your locks, and just millions of different videos on how to get your truck back on the road.
If you have a classic Chevy or GMC truck, you need to go to brotherstrucks.com. They have everything you need. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. We're going to keep on trucking.